Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I am Siddharth Bharadwaj. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi holds bilateral talks with Bangladeshi counterpart Sheikh Hasina in New Delhi. 10 memoranda of understanding signed. Tension escalates between Israel and Lebanon's Hezbollah. United Nations chief warns of catastrophe beyond imagination. And in sports, India to face Bangladesh in Super 8's encounter of the ICC Men's T20 World Cup in Antigua. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi held bilateral talks with his Bangladeshi counterpart Sheikh Hasina in New Delhi on Saturday to further deepen historic ties between the two countries. The talks covered a range of areas of bilateral cooperation, including development partnership, energy, water resources, trade, defense, cooperation, and more. India's Ministry of External Affairs spokesperson Randhir Jaiswal in a social media post said that Prime Minister Narendra Modi extended a warm welcome to PM Sheikh Hasina at Hyderabad House ahead of their bilateral discussions, adding that the two leaders have met 10 times since 2019, making unprecedented transformations in the relationship. Prime Minister Modi and Bangladesh Prime Minister also held delegation-level talks in New Delhi. India and Bangladesh signed 10 agreements that includes document on shared vision, India-Bangladesh digital space, shared vision document on green partnership, MOU on maritime and blue economy, MOU on renewal of health, MOU in space, MOU on railway, MOU on oceanography, renewal of MOU on disaster management, renewal of MOU in fisheries, cooperation on military. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi e-medical visa services for those announced. In fact, the e-medical visa services for those who reach India for medical treatment from Bangladesh, and added that both sides agreed to start talks on comprehensive economic partnership agreement to bolster the economic ties.
दोनों देशों के बीच भारतीय रुपये में ट्रेड की शुरुआत हुई है। भारत बांग्लादेश के बीच गंगा नदी पर दुनिया की सबसे लंबी रिवर क्रूज को सफलतापूर्वक पूरा किया गया है। भारत बांग्लादेश के बीच पहली क्रॉस बॉर्डर फ्रेंडशिप पाइपलाइन पूरी की गई है। भारतीय ग्रिड से होते हुए नेपाल से बांग्लादेश तक बिजली निर्यात ऊर्जा क्षेत्र में सब रीजनल सहयोग का पहला उदाहरण बना है। एक ही वर्ष में इतने सारे एरियाज में इतने बड़े इनिशिएटिव्स को जमीन पर उतारना हमारे संबंधों के स्पीड और स्केल को दर्शाता है।
Addressing the joint meet, Bangladeshi counterpart said that India is the major neighbor, trusted friend and regional partner.
Today, our two sides had very productive meetings where we discussed politics and security, trade and connectivity, the sharing of water from common rivers, power and energy, and regional and multilateral cooperation, among other issues of mutual interest.
All right, DD India's Naval Sangh Parmar joins us live from Dhaka for more on the story. Hello, Naval Sangh. India will start e-medical visa facility for people coming from Bangladesh to India for medical treatment. How will it benefit people there? It's a big thing.
Yes, definitely. It is very big thing for the people in Bangladesh. Actually, there were two popular demand in Bangladesh, and one was the relaxation in visa regime. So there were a revised travel agreement between India and Bangladesh. It was came to in effect in 2018, and it was due. The revision was due, and that demand to give some relaxation for the Indian visa. Post-COVID, there are plenty of demand for the Indian visa, particularly for the medical purpose and tourism. So, and in last 2-3 years, every day Indian High Commission here in Bangladesh and other Assistant High Commissioner in Sylhet, Chittagong, and Khulna and Rajshahi were jointly processing around 7,000 visa application per day, which is very huge number, and I think it is highest in the world. So due to that, there were lots of burden on the consular wing on visa section, and people were not getting visa on time. So there were some sort of regret or some sort of disappointment in their mind. So their demand was that the visa regime should be liberalized, and particularly for the medical visa. If some people diagnose some disease and there are not good health facility in Bangladesh, so they prefer India, particularly the Kolkata, Chennai, Hyderabad, Bangalore. These are the hot destination for Bangladeshi people to get medical treatment. So for that, they need visa on emergency basis, urgent basis. But at the same time, High Commission and the Indian visa section here in Bangladesh were facing tremendous pressure due to the flooding of application. But due to the e-medical visa, the large portion of the visa application will be automatically diverted to the e-section. So tourist visa will also be now it will be easier to get tourist visa because medical visa burden will be shift. Second thing, there are 4 assistant high commissions in Bangladesh apart from Indian High Commission in Dhaka, and that is the Khulna and Rajshahi, Sylhet, and Chattogram. The northern area of Bangladesh, mainly the Rangpur division, which is close to Siliguri corridor, and it is around 350 kilometers away from the Dhaka. So they were having lots of difficulty to get visa and the consular service or visa service. They need to travel either Rajshahi or Dhaka. So to facilitate the peoples of Bangladesh which are living in the northern Bangladesh, they will get benefit of the visa section or consular service in the form of Assistant High Commission Rangpur. That is the very popular. That was a very popular demand, and it will be fulfilled as our Prime Minister said in the press statement. Second thing, there are 2 more things which is discussed in the diplomatic and the journalistic circle in Dhaka, and that's 2 are the common river water resource sharing and management. And for that also our Prime Minister said in the joint statement that the Tista River conservation and management, the technical committee will be set up to...
Naval Sangh, as far as the Tista River conservation is concerned, a technical team is to visit Bangladesh soon. Can you tell us something about that? Any updates?
Yes, actually, Tista is a river which sometimes have a in the lean season. There is a scarcity of water in Bangladesh, and at the same time, in the rainy season, it is the river which flood the northern district of Bangladesh, particularly Rangpur, Lalmonirhat, and Kurigam district. These are the highly flood affected district of Bangladesh. So Bangladesh is demanding that there should be some kind of water management kind of system. So the flood-like situation can be avoided, and at the same time, Bangladesh get a assured share of water, and that is the popular demand. And in that case, in that direction, the decision has taken that it will be a technical committee, and it will evaluate the situation on ground, and there will be a agreement on that. Second thing, the Ganga water sharing agreement, which was signed in 1996, and it was due to further ratify or further extension. And that also our Prime Minister said in statement that it will be get extension and further agreement will be there on the Ganga water sharing.
Definitely. Naval Singh, MOU on maritime and blue economy was also signed. Can you tell us something about that as well?
Yes, India and Bangladesh are have a close neighbor on the coast of Bay of Bengal, and there are plenty of opportunity. And the Bay of Bengal, particularly the northern Bay of Bengal, is full of resources. So, particularly the marine resource, as well as there are very specific possibility to have a natural resource like petroleum gas. And other minerals may be there, and to exploration of that maritime resource, there will be a blue economic cooperation between the two countries.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Naval Singh Parmar, for giving us those updates.
Thank you.
Teesta Water Sharing Pact was also on the agenda. Prime Minister Modi said that India will send a technical team to Bangladesh soon.
I'm now visiting New Delhi for an unprecedented second time in the same month, June 2024. Earlier, on June 9, I attended with other world leaders the swearing-in ceremony of Prime Minister Modi and his new cabinet. These are testaments to our two countries' close engagement.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi, my
heartfelt congratulations to Honorable Prime Minister for his historic third time as the Prime Minister.
साझा नदियां भारत और बांग्लादेश को जोड़ती हैं। फ्लड मैनेजमेंट, अर्ली वार्निंग, ड्रिंकिंग वाटर प्रोजेक्ट्स पर हम सहयोग करते आए हैं। हमने 1996 के गंगा रिवर ट्रीटी के रिन्यूअल के लिए टेक्निकल स्तर पर बातचीत शुरू करने का निर्णय लिया है। बांग्लादेश में तीस्ता नदी के संरक्षण एवं प्रबंधन पर बातचीत के लिए शीघ्र ही एक टेक्निकल टीम बांग्लादेश का दौरा करेगी।
All right, and DD India's Munmun Bhattacharya joins us from Hyderabad House in New Delhi. For more, Munmun, hello. Lots of MOUs signed between both the countries and some were renewed as well. Certainly it goes on to show the growing partnership between the two countries in various sectors, in fact. What are you getting for us? Munmun, can you hear me?
Right, Siddharth, at the very outset, I must say here that Sheikh Hasina was on her first bilateral state visit after the assumption of power by Prime Minister Narendra Modi in the third time in a row. Yes, Siddharth, I can hear you. I was saying that Sheikh Hasina, Bangladesh Prime Minister, is in India. This is her first bilateral state visit to India after Narendra Modi came to power for the third time, and this goes on to show the kind of importance that India and Bangladesh both place when it comes to India's neighborhood first policy, Sagar vision, which is security and growth for all in the region, besides, of course, partnership in the Indo-Pacific region as a whole. So, having said that, I would say that the headline coming from the talks that took place between the two leaders is that there is going to be continuity, but there's also going to be a futuristic vision which is going to be focused on a green, a sustainable partnership with focus on space cooperation as well. And this is a kind of cooperation which will also have a digital domain, and this is something from which the youth of both the countries will stand to benefit. For instance, we know that India-Bangladesh Moi-3 satellite announcement was made by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Besides that, medical visas will be given to patients of Bangladesh so that they can travel to India for treatment. Besides that, as far as Teesta river water management issue is concerned, on the conservation issue, it has been decided that a technical team will be going from India to Bangladesh. Also on the renewal of the agreement that is expected to take place still on the Ganga river water sharing issue. On that, we know that that agreement is expiring in 2026. So it was decided that technical talks will take place for the renewal, in a sense, of that agreement. So a lot of focus really on the future, because the Prime Minister said that a lot has already been achieved at an unprecedented speed and scale in the last 1 year, from rail connectivity to port connectivity to cargo connectivity to power transmission, to name a few.
All right, thank you so much, Munmun, for that analysis. We'll keep taking updates from you. And the Bangladesh Prime Minister was accorded a ceremonial reception at the Rashtrapati Bhavan in national capital Delhi earlier today. Sheikh Hasina was received by Prime Minister Narendra Modi at the Rashtrapati Bhavan as the first guest on a bilateral state visit after the formation of the new government in India. Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina also paid respects to Mahatma Gandhi at Rajghat. Sheikh Hasina is in New Delhi on a 2-day visit to India. The visiting leader is scheduled to call on President Draupadi Murmu and Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar later today. India's Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman on Saturday chaired pre-budget meeting with finance ministers of states and union territories and sought suggestions ahead of the General Budget 2024. Sitharaman will also chair the 53rd GST Council meeting in New Delhi later today. The GST Council is meeting for the first time after the formation of new government. The last GST Council meeting was held on 7th of October last year. India's Purchasing Managers Index rose by 0.4 percentage point to 60.9 in June in comparison to May. According to a survey by HSBC, business activity in India got further strengthened in June, with the pace of job creation fastest in over 18 years. The business activity was also strengthened by gains in manufacturing and services sectors. Manufacturers and service providers combined saw their output rise. All right, and still to come on this edition of DD India Live. Russia's airstrike damages Ukrainian power facilities. Ukraine downs 12 missiles launched by Russia. 3 people killed, 10 injured in Arkansas supermarket shooting.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
You're watching DD India Live. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj. Germany on Saturday said that proposed European Union tariffs on Chinese goods are not a punishment. Reaction comes after China's warning on Friday that escalating frictions with EU over tariffs could trigger a trade war. Brussels has proposed hefty duties on imports of Chinese-made electric vehicles to combat what the EU considers excessive subsidies. The duties are currently provisional but will be introduced from July 4th. 4 members of UK's richest family, the Hindujas, have been sent up to 4 years and 6 months in jail by Swiss court for exploiting their domestic workers. The accused are Prakash Hinduja and his wife Kamal, their son Ajay and his wife Namrata. They were accused of confiscating the workers' passports and forcing them to work over 16 hours a day in their Geneva villa at a much lower rate than the minimum wage in Switzerland. Brought from India, the domestic helps were mostly illiterate. And in a mass shooting incident reported in the southern US state of Arkansas, at least 3 people were killed and 8 others injured outside a grocery store. Those injured include a law enforcement officer and also the shooter, who is critical and has been taken into custody. Emergency services were swiftly dispatched to the scene, providing urgent medical attention to the injured. Meanwhile, the US Supreme Court on Friday upheld a federal law that prevents people who are prone to domestic violence from having firearms. It is among the first major Second Amendment decision since a 2022 ruling that expanded gun rights. And Russia has launched a new missile and drones in an overnight attack on Ukraine on Saturday that has damaged energy facilities in the southeast and west regions of Ukraine. Facilities in Zaporizhzhia region in the southeast and Lviv region in the west were damaged by the strikes. Meanwhile, Ukraine claimed to have shot down 12 missiles and all 13 drones launched by Russia. Moscow has said its airstrikes against the Ukrainian energy infrastructure were in retaliation for Ukrainian drone attacks on the Russian territory. DD India's Dasha Chernysheва reports from Moscow.
Moscow says Russian troops keep the initiative along the entire front line, consistently reducing the combat potential of the Ukrainian military. That's according to Russia's defense minister Andrei Belousov. Speaking at the meeting with the graduates of high military educational institutions on Friday, he also said that Russia is at the forefront of the fight to establish a just and equal world order. Defense ministry also said that over the past week, the Russian military launched 14 group strikes with high-precision weapons at the facilities of the Ukrainian military-industrial complex. And the total losses of the Ukrainian military amounted to 14,000 people, and 37 Ukrainian soldiers have surrendered. On Saturday morning, Russia's RIA Novosti news agency said the Ukrainian military were attacked in the west of the country in Ivano-Frankivsk and Lviv. 5 Ukrainian drones have been shot down by the Russian air defense systems overnight. In the meantime, Russia is marking the Day of Sorrow on June 22, the day which marks the start of the Great Patriotic War against Nazi Germany. Russian officials say today Moscow is once again fighting against neo-Nazism ideology. Dasha Chernysheва reporting in Moscow for DD India.
The Israeli army released a video on Friday that showed ground troops operating in Gaza and an aerial strike targeting Hamas compounds. Israeli army located weapons in a university and eliminated armed terrorists in the central Gaza. Meanwhile, United Nations has also expressed concerns over escalating tensions between Israel and Lebanon's Hezbollah. UN chief said that peacekeepers are working to calm the situation.
I felt compelled today to voice my profound concerns about escalation between Israel and Hezbollah along the blue line. Escalation in continued exchanges of fire and escalation in bellicose rhetoric from both sides, as if an all-out war was imminent. The risk for the conflict in the Middle East to widen is real and must be avoided.
Let's take a look at other stories making news around the world. A ferry servicing the Cook Strait between New Zealand's North and South Islands has run aground in a late-night accident. The 47 crew and drivers spent the night on board the ferry, which had power and supplies, but were told to wear life jackets in case the situation worsened. A Pekingese wild thang from Oregon bagged the title of world's ugliest dog. The dog has competed in 5 previous world's ugliest dog competitions, but only won this Friday. Harry Potter fans can now catch a glimpse of the original cover artwork for Harry Potter on display at Sotheby's, New York. Illustration that introduced Harry Potter to the world to also go up for auction. Experts estimates the illustration to fetch between $600,000 to Sotheby's. Last sold the illustration in 2001 for €80,000, which was far above the pre-sale estimate. In sports, the Indian men's cricket team will face Bangladesh in their second Super 8 match in T20 World Cup today at Sir Vivian Richards Stadium, Antigua. The men in blue have looked one of the most balanced sides in the tournament so far, having won all of their matches. Despite low returns of the star opening duo Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli in the ongoing event, the likes of Surya Kumar Yadav, Hardik Pandya and Rishabh Pant have stood up and took the onus of scoring upon themselves. While the trio of Jasprit Bumrah, Arshdeep Singh and Hardik Pandya have been remarkable with the ball, while Akshar Patel, Ravindra Jadeja and Kuldeep Yadav have also got themselves amongst the wickets. The Andaman and Nicobar Command observed International Day of Yoga at Indira Point, the southernmost tip of India. The Indian Armed Force celebrated oneness of body and mind with a week-long yoga workshop, culminating in amphibians performing yoga. Well, that's all for this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.